again. This information video is on fork clamps. So I've got a few different bikes here to show you the different variations of clamps. So we're going to start off with your most basic, cheapest clamp available. These are the TSX 88 or TSB 70 clamps. So we'll give you some measurements and we'll tell you what the name of each clamp is. So this part here is called your bar clamp, obviously because it clamps your bar. This is called your top clamp. This is called your stem that goes through the middle, and this is called your lower clamp or bottom clamp. So the most important measurements are your bar clamp, because you need to know if it's a 1 inch or a 7/8. Most of them are 7/8, but as we're going to show you, there's also 1 inch. So as you can see there, it's about 22 mils, which is about 7/8 of an inch. If you do want to put 1 inch bars, you can get razors that will fit in here and then will sit on top. So you can fit a 1 inch bar on a 7/8 clamp, or vice versa. So next up, we'll give you the eye to eye on these, on the top clamp. So eye to eye is 149 millimeters, and then we'll give you that's where your stem will bolt through. We'll give you from the fork to the stem, which might help you out. So eye to eye, the fork to the stem bolt is about 97 millimeters, which is 195 millimeters. And then we'll give you just the overall length of the lower clamp, which is about 190 millimeters there. And then I'll give you the inner diameter of where your fork will go through. So this will be the width of the diameter of your fork leg, which is 27 millimeters. So that's your most basic clamp. Next up, we're going to talk about our TSB clamp. These are just a basic cast clamp, and they fit the conventional fork, not the upside downs. So the thing to note with these clamps is you need to be careful not to over tighten the nuts here, because if you over tighten these nuts, you can actually crack the clamp, which is not ideal. So you just be careful with that. So we'll give you some measurements. So the fork tube is 33 millimeters there, and that will mean that these clamps are called 33 millimeter clamps. So it's the same top and bottom, where the upside downs are normally 45 top and 48 bottom. So I'll give you eye to eye from the center of the fork to the center of the fork, which is 160 millimeters, and then from the stem nut center to the center of the fork is 85 millimeters. The bar clamp height is about 89 millimeters, and then the total width of the clamp, it's quite hard to get a measurement there with the forks being on the bike, is 210 millimeters. So I'll give you one more measurement. So I mean, this isn't with the stem, but from the bottom, right from the bottom there just to the top of the clamp, if you just move, is 190 millimeters. So that's just our most basic clamp that we've got. Okay, the next one up from that, this is an upside down cast clamp as well. It's just another basic clamp. This one is I think this one's a 42 top. Yep, 42, and then 48 bottom. So these clamps to be classed as a 42, 48, and it also fits a 7/8 bar. So same as before. So if you were looking for, you know, these clamps would be 42/48 with this 7/8 bar clamp, and I'll just give you the length from the bottom to the top of the clamp. It's 225 mil, and then from the bottom of the top clamp to the top of the bar clamp is about 75 mil. So that's a much basic clamp. Same thing with these, just be careful not to over tighten them because there's a cast clamp. Next up, these are the clamps we use on our sort of TSX model Thumpstars. These are forged. These are a forged clamp, so they're a bit stronger than the cast ones. So it doesn't matter so much. You can crank up the clamps and you shouldn't have any problems. And this is also for a 1 inch bar. So it has the bigger bar. So we'll just show you, as you can see there, the bar is actually about 29 mils, which I think is about 1 inch. So we'll give you some measurements. So from center of the fork to center of the fork on the other side is 170 millimeters, and then center of the fork to center of the stem nut is 95 millimeters. And yeah, that's pretty much it on the forged clamp. Last of all, we're just going to show you a CNC clamp. This is CNC alloy, and these are the most expensive ones you can normally get. This is on a Thumpstar Pro here. So we'll give you the top. As you can tell, 45, and then the bottom's 48 mil. So these would be a 45, 48, 1 inch clamp if you were looking to buy them. And I'll give you center of center from the forks. So that is about 160 center to center. Probably I'd say 165 millimeter center to center there. And then from the center of the fork to center of the stem nut is about probably 82 millimeters there. It's hard to say with the bikes, the actual clamps on the bikes. And I'll give you one last length, which is just from the bottom of the clamp to the top there is about 207 millimeters. The good thing about these clamps too is if you have a look, they're actually adjustable. You can see there, so you can actually loosen off the bolt below and you can move your clamps forward and back to where suits. So that is quite a cool feature. That's probably it about on clamps. I hope they helped you guys out.